we go to your phone calls, I wanted to play part of the newscast from KRGV News and just point out our veterans are having health care taken away, confirmed, to give it to the illegal aliens. So understand, in this system, they want to swamp it and collapse it to bring in total control. All of you out there that want your government handouts and want people to vote for more government handouts, so you're for the illegals, you're going to end up getting neither because you went along with this. And again, I'm not demonizing the poor people of Latin America who live in living hell in general, but a lot of them are MS-13 and other gangs. That's come out in the news. And I saw police driving home from East Texas yesterday, pulling over Hispanic, white, and black, for some reason, housewives with their kids. And a couple times, I was in Belmead driving into Waco. I saw a guy in a big black SUV with a well-dressed church lady, it looked like, with like a 5-year-old and with like a 3-year-old, standing out in the 110-degree heat while he was searching their vehicle. And just the image of that paramilitary officer and this woman and her kids being searched, I almost pulled over and started videotaping, knowing he'd run over and say, you can't videotape, and then I could say, how dare you be a police state thug. But I wanted to throw up. While the border is wide open, the TSA is on record in articles again this week, video, just waving illegals through, no ID. And I've seen it before. The illegals, you know, are obviously illegals, got the cowboy hats, whole 9 yards, cowboy boots, whole 9 yards, and they say, don't speak English, have no paperwork. They sit there in Spanish, and they just wave them through. The whole police state is for us, the milk cows. We're the target of all of this, and it's total discrimination. They just want new people to get in here to overthrow the political system. And if America is so pathetic and so domesticated and we don't stand up to this, we get what we deserve. And down the road, I will just leave the country, which will only put off the inevitable collapse of wherever I go next, because there's not many places to go. Picture countries as like islands above seas of oppression, poverty, and tyranny. And as the ocean rises, even though they may say I'm a conspiracy theorist, the islands are actually the tips of mountains. They're not floating like the congressman from Georgia says. Now, he would just call me a conspiracy theorist and say they are floating. They're not. I know that's a conspiracy for me to have my own view, grounded in science, and to make my own decision. If MSNBC doesn't say it's the tip of a mountain, that the Hawaiian chain is mountaintops above the Pacific Ocean, it isn't. They're floating, according to Democratic congressmen and others. But I'm going to be a conspiracy theorist and tell you they're mountain tips. And as the ocean goes up, more countries go underwater. And the United States has rising water. There's Switzerland, there's New Zealand, there's Chile, there's places like Luxembourg or Monte Carlo if you're filthy rich. And those places will be safe to the very end. Places like Monte Carlo, places like Luxembourg. But folks, if you don't have $50 million, you can't retire to Luxembourg. I've looked it up. If you don't have $4 or $5 million, you can't try to even get into Switzerland. There are a few dozen countries that are a little bit better off than the U.S., but the water's rising, is my point. So here is that newscast. In the event of emergency, illegals to be evacuated before citizens. The headline's up on Infowars.com. And it was hidden in a KRGV newscast that we've highlighted. It's also on DrudgeReport.com. Here it is.
When a hurricane strikes, getting folks to safety is very important. Emergency managers in McAllen are concerned that with the number of illegal crossers in the valley, that task just got harder. A meeting this week in McAllen set a plan in motion.
The entire valley of detention areas will be evacuated first.
They use this to bring in a crisis in the border regions, federalize the states, create more of these FEMA camps. And we know they give them the Democratic Party operatives, Democratic Party churches, faith-based initiative paid off state-run churches, and they become the new political football class. We'll be right back with your phone calls. I'm Alex Jones. Stay with us, Infowars.com to see the full report. Matthew in Michigan. Matthew in Michigan, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's an honor to talk to you today, Alex. You're doing a great job, and I've been a Prison Planet member, subscriber since the beginning, and first-time caller, and you woke me up in 2006. And
Thank you, brother.
Back. I just want to say that I get really irritated when I try to talk to family members and friends, and I try to bring up these important topics, and they just totally go to that you're, tinfoil hat, conspiracy theorist. And I'll be like, well, this happened, USS Liberty got attacked, a long time ago. I'll try to bring up specific points and stuff about that the globalists are trying to do, and they just, that didn't happen. Or they won't even look at
Well, what they're really saying is, I feel like I don't have any power, so I'm just going to deny things, and this is my cop-out to just go through life and not really exist and just be programmed by the false culture. They have no culture, so they're victims. You can't be angry at them. There are ways to deprogram them. Go ahead.
No, I don't get angry. I just get really frustrated, and it gets to me sometimes. I get I don't know what I can do, but I just started my own domain name. I want to start making my own videos, and my big thing is the fluoride in the water, and the fact that the sun plays with our weather patterns, and everybody likes to blame global warming. And Al Gore's not a fearmonger. He wants to take our money, but oh my God, Alex Jones.
You've taken your step into a giant world, Matthew, and don't thank me. Anybody will tell you, any salesman will tell you, selling your family is next to impossible. A lot of times, only the very best families get listening to your family instead of putting your family down. So they feel powerful when they reject you, powerful when they laugh at you. So go off, be successful on your own, warning others, and then they'll respect you down the road. And they'll remember that you warned them earlier. So I salute you, Matthew.
Hi, I'm Dr. Edward Group. Today I'd like to talk about the war on women. You've experienced and heard about the benefits of super male vitality. Now, the new formula has arrived. Introducing the new Super Female Vitality. I have specifically designed this formula to help the body naturally regulate itself without the use of artificial hormones. Key ingredients chosen from the highest quality sources. Each of these ingredients works synergistically with the female body in order to maximize overall vitality. You've heard the reviews and the feedback on how the original Super Male Vitality has revitalized relationships. Now, both the man and the woman can have the revitalization in their own bodies with Super Male Vitality and Super Female Vitality. Secure your Super Female Vitality today from our limited stock at InfoWarsLife.com.